So I've been apprehensive about making this video just because it's crazy to think about changing path after over a decade now of making these. It's actually been about 13 years since I made my first, Gilson style suspension hook. And I've sold thousands of them. I've shipped them to nearly 40 different countries. And people love them, I've been using them the whole time. Obviously they're my favorite hook, and it kills me to say that I'm not going to be making them anymore. But during this final batch, these are all customs that I made for specific people. I tried really hard to simplify the process and make it reliable to the point where I could turn it over to somebody to make for me. But unfortunately, these are just a ton of work to make, and it's high skill labor. Not only is the CNC machining really complex and really require a CNC machinist to make them. It's not something that you just stick in a piece of material and it spits out a hook. There's nearly 20 separate processes required to make these. And every single part is being machined by me. The bolt, the pin, the frames, the bending, the anodizing, the polishing. It's a ton of labor. And so at this point, I just had to come to the conclusion that it's really just not a sustainable product for the long term. And I always had hope that it would be, that it would become a sustainable product that I'd make forever. But unfortunately, that's where I'm at. So I'm shipping out all of these. All outstanding orders will be out in a couple weeks, and I'm not doing any more of the custom titanium ones, not for people. I'm going to be, I've got about a dozen or so titanium hook frames that I'm going to be stylizing the way I want, and I'll just be announcing them as they're available, and people can buy them then. And I'm only making a small batch of stainless thread locks. And then that'll be that. I'm discontinuing this model of suspension hook, and it's bittersweet for sure. But I'm pretty burnt out. They're just so much work, and I'm doing all this work by myself. I'm alone in my garage all the time, and I just need a change of pace. I want to make other products, and I have another hook like design that I plan on producing, but it's still just a design on a computer, and I've got a lot of other products kind of lined up. I'm still going to be making other suspension related equipment, but not these. But this next hook will be, probably within a year, I'm hoping, to make it, as long as there's enough demand for it. But I don't know for certain if that day will come. I hope it does, because I've put a lot of work into this design. But it's gonna take a fair amount of R&D to finalize it, and then the testing process and everything. But in the end, I think this new design will be superior, and I think most people will probably like it more than these, and I should be able to make them for the same price, which I know these are expensive, especially when you compare them to just a fish hook. But really the amount I'm making per hour is far too low for a product with requiring this high a cost and the extremely expensive equipment that's required to make them. So anyway, that's that. Go to dissectedart.com and you can buy the final inventory. I am limiting the number of hooks that each individual can purchase, just so a lot of people can purchase them. But I just want to thank everyone for supporting me over the past 13 years doing these. Really, if it weren't for making these hooks, I never would have made the connections that led to me making my film. So there's amazing good that's come out of this. Some of my closest friends are all suspension people. And really, I just wouldn't have met all of them if it weren't for taking on this endeavor. So it's definitely something I will always think back on fondly. Even though here at the end, I'm not terribly fulfilled by it. There were a lot of times that were very exciting, testing the hooks, jumping off a fucking cliff onto these hooks. But definitely you all who have become my friends, and I hope are lifelong friends. So thank you. Anyway, I'll see you guys around.